You're engaged.
Yeah.
I see that ring. How is that?
It's amazing.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw you, I'm not gonna say where, but I saw you somewhere and you were so happy.
Yeah.
And I was like, hold on now.
Yeah.
What's going on? Because you were very, you two just seemed perfect together.
Thank you.
How's that been?
It's been amazing.
Yeah.
It's been crazy. I can't stop smiling because God is just so interesting, you know? And I would have never anticipated what may seem like the craziest season, like outwards to people, being the most peaceful, freeing, joyful, fun, adventurous, self-discovery. I mean, all those things for me. And so, yeah, I'm just in a place of like peace and just complete thankfulness. And even now, as I look around, like even with the show ending, and it's like there's been this kind of big chapter in space where, you know, I was constantly growing and shifting and being molded and learning and realizing and all these things. And so now I'm just like, okay, now where's the next part of that? And like, you know, I don't know what's next, but I'm just really excited about it. So
That's what I was gonna say. What is next? What comes next?
well, there's some obvious things.
Yes, there are some obvious things. I mean, if you're engaged, you have to plan a wedding and all that kind of
Right.
stuff. So there's that. But I mean, there's other things that come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ian with a new boo was not on my bingo card for this year.
That's Portia. She's literally like his sister.
What? She ain't kiss him like she his sister.
Harlem season 3 is finally out, and this is the final season. What emotions do you have knowing that this is the end?
You know, it's very bittersweet because I have lived here in this space, you know, for the past 5 years with these girls, these women, and we went through COVID, we went through strike, we went through divorce, we went through having kids, we went through falling in love. All 3 of us are engaged right now, me, Jerry, and Tyler. You know, Shaniqua dropping music for the first time. It's something she's always wanted to do. It's just been such a family. And then I also just love this character, and I love the characters in the world.
Camille, wow, hi.
I mean, we're exclusive.
You tripping. Check me.
Can we talk about Camille for a second? And if you don't
Can we?
know, if you don't know her, you need to get to know her. There's some interesting things that are happening to her this season. I'm not going to spoil anything,
Right.
but it's wild.
Yes, wow, it's a wild season for sure, for sure.
But it's more than just a wild season, y'all. Anyway, there are some things that happened. Did
Yeah.
it surprise you, the turn that happened for Camille?
I think so. I mean, you know, none of us knew what to expect or what was going to be what. And I think, you know, the show in the season is very much like real life. Things can change on a dime. And so I think that I don't want to give anything away because something I say might inform something else for somebody else or anything like that. But what I will say is I'm just really, really proud of it, you know? This is like one of the best experiences I've ever had in my professional career. So it's definitely something that we're gonna miss, but you know, there's always a movie.
I want to ask you about the relationship you have with these ladies because the banter, the storylines are so smart.
Yeah,
and
thanks.
for us as African Americans, we don't have a lot of shows like that.
Right, yeah. I mean, that is like to the brilliance of Tracy Oliver, you know, who isn't afraid to go anywhere and have just real conversations. You know, me and her were talking about just fertility and like what that journey's been like for me and all of that. And she's like, you know, do you mind if we talk about this in the show? And I'm like, no, please, you know, and anytime, whether it's about fibroids or rather, I mean, it could be anything across the board that we as people, but especially women and especially Black women deal with that we only kind of touch the surface of and we never really explore. And here, not only do we explore it, but we show all the emotions behind it, the victories, the triumphs, the joys, the devastating fails, and all of it in between.
I, as a man, feel like I'm getting entree into private female conversations that I would never be around. Is that what it is that I'm finally getting to hear what you're talking about when you aren't around?
And I think that's the thing too, is like a lot of men love the show, and I think for that reason, you know, it's because it's not just for women, it is an entry into our world and our thinking process and our feelings and the inappropriate stuff we say behind the door that's just as inappropriate as what y'all be saying behind the door.
Yeah, we some crazy. Yeah, we say some craziness, but that's what I love about this show. I'm like, oh, I'm finally getting to listen to these conversations.
Yay.
Also, Whoopi. You have Whoopi, a recurring role. How has that been working with Whoopi?
One of the greatest honors in my career thus far.
Dr. Pruitt from Yale?
I'm one of the adjunct professors, Camille Parks.
Can I call you back?
Yeah, that's fine, Dr. Pruitt. I'll talk to you later.
She is such a woman's woman and an advocate of just seeing us win. And, you know, she's just been there for me in ways I can't really express. And it's just giving of herself and giving of her heart, giving of her private experience, just so that I could feel seen and loved and understood and know that I'm not alone. And then, yeah, just the way she shows up. She's just so much fun and just a wonderful, wonderful human being.
Do y'all get to keep the clothes?
Some of them.
Yeah. I will tell you this. The fashion in this show is next level, and whether it's just regular street fashion, which you're wearing out, or it's when you're dressing up, it's beautiful.
Thank you.
Who styles that, and what are some of your favorites?
Dietrich Govan, like she came in and she just, you know, she was like, all right. And the crazy thing is that I understood who Camille was, but seeing the vision board of each one of the characters and each one of the clothes and each one of even the color palettes of the world behind, and then understanding that Harlem is not just our city or our borough, it's another character. It's another one of the five girls. And so once I could see all of that, I think it really, stepping into my clothes really helped me understand who Camille is.
Yeah.
And Deidre did an incredible, incredible job with that.
How much Meagan is in Camille?
A lot, actually.
Is it? Yeah. In what ways?
Just, you know, I am the person who tells the joke and everyone's like, no, Meagan, don't stop, you know? But I think that ultimately her knowing like what she wants and not stopping, and then also like even if there's an adjustment, like just being sure of who she is even when she feels crazy and even when she's like, okay, I don't have all the answers, but at least I know who I am. And then that accountability of like, oh, I was wrong for that. Okay, yeah, I could grow there. You know, just those things are very much Meagan. There's also a lot of Tracy Oliver in Camille, I believe. And there's a lot of my best friend Amy in Camille as well. So a little bit of mashup.
There's an interesting breakup at the end of the season.
All right, first of all, let your friends know they don't gotta give me a death stare if I'm kissing someone.
He's a problem because the way he acts is a problem. You know what, Ian? F you.
But it evolves. What can you tell us about that relationship?
You know, the evolving of, you know, Logan Browning's character, stealing my man. Shout out to Logan because I absolutely love her, and I'm glad that it was her, not somebody else. But I can't really elaborate. I'm not allowed to, evidently. But what I will say is, everybody has some major relationship shifts this season, like major relationship shifts. So you're gonna have to wait to see how it goes for Camille, because she kind of messed up, you know. But we'll see.
Yeah, Camille kind of goes a little off the rails.
Yeah.
She goes a little off.
Somebody described it as crashing out. They said, why Camille crash out this season? I was like, oh, is that what that means? Yeah, she, you know, follows her heart and tries to be true, but also sometimes has to eat what that truth is. And so, and then she also just doesn't handle it well when it doesn't go her way.
At all. All I'm gonna say is put your phone down, put your phone away.
Yeah.
Put your phone away if you're going through some things. Put it away.
Yeah. Agreed.
Right?
Agreed.
Right?
I actually go by that rule. I'm
Do
like,
you
just
do
don't-
that?
Don't. Just wait. Yep.
I hear you. Could there be an extra season of this? Could there be an extra season? Would you come back? Would you all come back to do more?
Yeah, we would definitely come back for another season for sure.
Because everybody didn't know it was the end.
I know.
When did you learn that it was the last?
Right before we started. Yeah. So I think that's what I am thankful for, because nothing can go on forever. And I would rather end on a high note where everyone's like, I could have done more of that. I loved that show, versus like, hey there, it's cool. I like that show. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, really people connecting to it and leaving on a high note. And then also we got the wonderful opportunity to finish the season with each one of our characters getting a proper button that the audience absolutely deserves.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. You call it a proper button. I call it a surprise. There's some surprises in those
Yeah.
wrap-ups.
Yeah.
What was that like reading the script and seeing and saying, what?
I'll never forget the table read when we all got to New York. And I think some of us kind of realized and some of us kind of didn't. And like, it was in the ether. We knew it was going to be the last season, but I don't think we really had fully processed it. Some of us hadn't. So during that table read, and I get to the last narration, where, you know, the last voiceover, and I just start choking up, and I actually, like, talking like, and I look over and Tyler's eyes are like brimming, and I look at Jerry and she's looking at him, and then she looks over at Grace who's like, don't you start that, and she starts crying, and Shanika starts crying, then Tracy is full on crying, and it's just such a family. It's like, I'm glad that we were able to cry together. I'm glad that we were able to kind of like be intentional about every single episode, every single scene, knowing what we knew and not being surprised by something later, so that we could leave it there, you know?
It's like what I've been saying. Let go of the worry and good things will happen.